Fantastic. We are live. Good morning and welcome to Operation Sentinel. Today's target is Super Grok. We're going to spend about 30 minutes breaking down the UI, running through some demos. Then you guys will take 10 minutes to build something on your own. We'll come back. You can do some show and tell and show us what you played around with, and then we'll wrap it up from there. So we should be finishing here in about an hour. So, like I said, like I mentioned, some of the topics we're going to cover today are pulling live job market data, having it make sort of real decisions, difficult decision making, and building an app from just a paragraph type of description without knowing how to write code. You don't need to be technical. You also don't need a paid account. There are paid accounts, and I'm actually on a paid account, the $30 per month one. We'll get into that in a minute. But there is a free account, and if you want, you can sign up right now so you can follow along or at least start playing with it from your side to see what things look like. One thing also before we start, every prompt that I'm going to show here, I'm going to put into the chat as well. So you guys will all have access to that. This is also recorded, so you'll be able to view it at a later point and get all the details there as well. Let me make sure my chat is set to everybody. There we go. Perfect. Okay. All right. So Super Grok is XAI. Okay. XAI is owned by SpaceX. So it's all Elon and his company. It's an AI assistant that reads live web data. And more importantly, or probably more importantly, is that it is unique in that it reads X posts in live real time. It's the only AI that has access to X because obviously SpaceX owns X, formerly known as Twitter. So they allow you to search all that Twitter data in real time directly through Grok. No other AI can do that. So if you use Twitter or you like to review Twitter or see the news in Twitter, there are usually breaking news. Certain people post into X more often than any other platform. Business leaders post here, Satya posts here, all the big people post here all the time, their thoughts and their quick sharing around, what's happening. So it's getting better. Just like every social media platform, X has got some garbage in there, but it's also got some good stuff. It also, by the way, we're going to get into this, but you can also do images. It's got automation. It's got all that stuff. We're going to dive into that here in a minute. I think the main thing with Grok is most of these AI tools were trained months ago on data that was fed to it, right? An LLM. Grok reads the internet and X live right now as you do your searching. It'll reason through hard decisions, also build the working app, as I mentioned, and you'll have you'll know how to build an app and do all of this by the end of in the next 45 minutes, actually next 20 minutes. So why does it matter for folks on this call? Well, veterans and job seekers in general, you can get live job market data, intel, job postings, employer research, interview prep, based on what's happening in the news this week or today, not last year. So from that perspective, it can be a force multiplier when trying to find a job. Career changers are also a good target for the tool. Build mode, you can build apps. And let's face it, pretty much most of the tech interviews today, you're going to be asked, what apps have you built? Because you no longer have to be technical. Hey, I see you have your hand up. Go ahead, jump in. Hey, folks, you're on mute by default. I saw a hand up. Does somebody have a question? Looks like the hand went back down. No worries. And thanks for the folks that just jumped on here. We're just getting started. You haven't missed anything. We're just going through sort of what is Grok. So you have veterans and job seekers. You have career changers. As I was mentioning, you can, in plain English, you can build apps here. just like most of these types of chatbot tools, if you will. And that's really important. You can build an app now in 20 minutes, even less. Um, and every time you think about an idea in your head, you should just go in and build an app for it. On the free plan doesn't cost you anything. And odds are, if you're interviewing for a technical role these days, even a management role in tech, they're going to ask you, what apps have you built? And not only can you say you've built dozens, if not over 100 apps, you can talk about your favorite top three and how you use them all the time, or how you built them for a friend, or how you built them for a nonprofit in your town that really needed this solution, or they were paying a SaaS provider to do it, and you built a free version of basically what they needed and saved them money. So it doesn't necessarily have to be like when I hire folks, I just want to know what they're built. It doesn't have to be for their current job or for their employer. If I see that they're in there playing around and building stuff, I know they're curious about technology. I know that they really love technology. And it's a very positive sign as a hiring manager. Even if they don't ask it, you should volunteer it and weave it into that interview somehow. Like, your favorite build tool is X, Y, and Z, and you've built this and that, even if it's for personal things like reviewing your finances or searching for index funds to invest in, or bubbling up the latest news in X, Y, and Z, or intelligence from your competitors or the market. There's basic stuff you can build and just write it in plain English and build it. And hiring managers will love to hear about it. And like for entrepreneurs, this tool is great. All these AI tools are great. You can do real-time competitor intelligence. You can also monitor in real time market chatter off of X, which everybody knows is oftentimes a sounding board for people who are upset. And so if someone's talking bad about your company or your services, to have something that's checking on that daily and bubbling that up to you, so you can see it, number one, and make the correction, and number two, respond if there's a good response that you can give to address the concern that is on the public square now. All right, fantastic. So that's basically Grok at a high level. So the first thing I want to show you here, I have it up on my screen. See, there's no questions. Great. Any chats in here? Let me just make sure. Guys, if you have a question, you don't have to raise your hand. You can either just drop it in the chat or just come off of mute and interrupt me. This is made to be interactive, and the more questions, the better. No questions too basic. All right, so I'm just simply at grok.com. Again, there's a free account. You don't need to pay. Along the left nav menu is very similar to what you see in most AI chatbots, right? Like GPT or Claude. You have search, which searches only your history here in Grok. It's not searching the internet. There's the quick differentiation there. So if you if you asked Grok a question 3 months ago and you forgot exactly where it is in your history and you don't want to scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll, just search for a keyword that you can think of that was in that, either in your question or in Grok's answer, and you'll see it in your search history here. New chat is where we are right now. Fresh, clean slate. A few things I'll point out here. I am on Grok Plus, which is the $30 per month. It's the one level above the free plan. You just type directly into the chat just like you do everything else. It also has the microphone button. If you have a long thought or you have to write something more than one sentence, I always recommend just clicking the microphone, and that works in any AI. Hit the microphone, just speak your mind. It doesn't have to be perfect English. It doesn't have to be well thought out. Just spit out whatever you can, whatever incoherent thoughts you're having, and then at the end, tell it what you want it to do with it. For example, you could just have it like, here are my random thoughts on this, and I want you to organize them and put them together in a polished way. Maybe you had a disagreement at work, or maybe a boss said something and you want to figure out how to respond. Or, if your spouse, said something and you want to be thoughtful on how to respond, you could put a summary of that conversation in here and ask it, how should I respond to all of this? Or what would you recommend? What would be the proper way to handle this? So it can do that work stuff, it can do the personal stuff, all of those things right here. And the dictation button is really, you want to start using that as much as possible. Stop typing. It's 2026. Start dictating. The next button over, again, is you see this with all the other AIs as well. This is voice mode. That's where you can have an interactive one-on-one conversation with Grok, just as you do in GPT, just as you have in Claude and all the others. So really no differences there. The one thing I like about Grok here is the model picker. Just like the others, you have model pickers here. They write their model pickers sort of in more layman's terms. So, Claude, it's like Opus and Fable and Sonnet and Haiku. What the heck is that? Grok has fast for quick questions and lookups, great for lookups. Expert, which are more heavy decisions that you need. Then you have build, which is the ability to build apps just by speaking your common language and writing a paragraph about it, and it builds it. And then you can edit that app again just by having a conversation. And then you have heavy, which is a team of experts and AI agents to help you do stuff. Heavy, by the way, is only available in Super Grok Heavy. That's $300 a month. I do not have that plan. We will not go into that. But there's a lot of stuff on YouTube on Grok Heavy if you really want to dive into it and learn more about it. We won't be covering that here on this call. And the one thing that I love about Grok over the other AIs is it has auto mode. I don't have to think about which model is best and which tokens am I spending. And I've done this before. I've run silly tasks inside of Claude against Fable, which costs a lot of money. And I'm like, oh, dang it, I just ran the wrong model. Grok will automatically pick the model based on whatever you're asking it. And it defaults to being conservative. So you can always bump it up if you want sort of a deeper analysis, but it's always going to try and choose and optimize your tokens for you. You don't have to manually manage that. Auto is the default, by the way. I do recommend auto. I'm going to put it on fast for now because I want to show you the differences between the different models, but definitely leave it on auto unless like you only want the heaviest, hardest stuff all the time in Grok. And then lastly, just like every other chat AI, you have all the other options here to add things, files, projects, skills, and connectors. No different than the others. And we'll dive into those in a little bit. But let me take a quick break right here. We've covered the basics of the UI, at least the chat window here. Any questions? Joseph, if you wouldn't mind, I'm going to ask you for a favor here. We don't have Philip here today to keep an eye on the questions coming into the chat room. If you see a question in there, if you wouldn't mind just interrupting me, and I'll open that up. But I don't want to miss it. I'm trying to do two things at once.
You got it. No problem.
Okay, great. Okay, moving right along. No questions, no thoughts. So this is the new chat window we just covered. Image, we're going to dive into at the end. We can do images and videos. It's actually pretty cool, the capabilities of image and video generation in Grok. I'm going to demo all of that for you. You have automations where you can set up scheduled tasks. You have skills and connectors where you connect things like your GitHub, your Gmail, your cloud storage, anything that has basically what's called an MCP server or an API connection, you can connect into Grok. For example, if you're an entrepreneur, you could connect your Stripe data and just ask it questions in here. You could connect, Google Analytics is not a good one, obviously, because Gemini locks that down. If you really want to be able to connect into your Google Analytics for your website, for example, you're going to want to use Gemini for that. But there's M365 connectors, there's HubSpot connectors, there's Salesforce connectors, just pretty much every major SaaS provider out there has a connector. So odds are if you're using it, even things like MailChimp and things like that, that send out emails for you will have a connector. And then the other ones are similar to what others have. You have projects here. I don't use projects in Grok. I use them in Claude, so I don't have anything here. And then you have your history here, that you can see all your chat history. One last thing also that's unique about Grok and that I really love about it, that's different than the rest, is in the top right corner, you're going to see the little private button. By default, it's not enabled, but if I do click on it, that means this chat is just between you and Grok, and it's not going to use it or store it or train on that data. So if you're going to be talking about sensitive information, if you're going to be uploading bank statements, if you're going to have it look at your credit report, anything on a personal level with personal data, I always recommend enabling that little private button. I haven't seen that in other AIs, and I do like that feature. It is very nice. Some people just leave it on all the time, and that's fine too. So those are the model numbers. These are the basics of the UI. We've covered all the good stuff in here. So now we're real quick on the pricing plans. I mentioned this earlier. Here are the pricing plans. You have the free version, which gives you limited access to basically the chat. You can't do images or videos. I don't think you can do any automations, and I think the connections are limited, but SuperGrok's really their basic paid plan, $30 per month. And then you got Plus and you got Heavy. And then obviously you have some business plans here. They start at 30. So you may say, okay, well, if it's the same price, should I use Grok Business or Grok
Your headphones,
Individual?
yeah. Oh, sorry.
That's okay. or Grok Individual. Business is better if you're going to be adding additional people and you want to share chats and projects. Start with the business account, even if you're only one person, because that gives you the ability to add additional users under one billing mechanism and a much easier management business sort of environment. Cool. All right, those are the plans. No, I don't see any questions. I'm going to give you guys some questions, some Q&As that I often get or that I hear people say. And one is, how is this different from GPT? I mentioned earlier, I just mentioned it again. I'd say three things. One is that it has real-time live access. It reads X, and formerly known as Twitter, and it's the only AI that has access to those Twitter posts and real-time Twitter posts in the past, all of that stuff. So that is unique and different than any other AI. Also, this private button is pretty unique. I don't see this also in others. And the build mode will ship working apps. Others, you can build apps too. I do like the app building capability here, and I think it's a little unique from the others, and we'll dive into that here in a little bit.
I just built a picture. It's in the
Great.
chat.
Excellent. Fantastic. We'll jump into that. And then we'll have you share that too, Joseph. The mode, again, I would just leave it on auto all the time. The nice thing, people will say, well, does it hallucinate like other AIs? The answer is yes. It can hallucinate. But the nice thing about Grok, and they're all starting to do this now, is when you ask it to look into something or research something, it adds citations next to all the major sentences or claims that it's coming back and saying. So you can click on that citation, which is from like a real legitimate website, and see where it got that information. It's not giving you this information based on data that it was trained on 6 months ago. It's live off the internet. And by the way, here's the actual source that it pulled it from. Is my data private? No. If even on paid plans, they do train off the data unless you have this private button on. That's another common question. Another question is, do I need to install anything? No. Unlike Claude, where you can download and install Cowork, Grok, at least for now, is purely online, grok.com. There is an iPhone app and an Android app. So from that regard, there is a download. You can install it. It's much easier to work on the app on a mobile device than in a web browser. And so they have installs for those devices. But on the computer, it's web-based only. And sometimes people ask me, can it replace a developer? My answer to that is just like all these AIs, no. You still need a developer to help. Listen, it can build some basic stuff, but if you're building like an app that you really want to scale and add people to, it's difficult to do that without a developer, purely vibe coding. Not to say it's not possible, but it's very difficult. I wouldn't recommend it. But it does help you be more productive. Most people who are using AI on a daily basis can see a 3x jump in productivity. Maybe not right away. If you're new to AI, you slowly sort of get into it. 1.2, 1.5, 2x, 2.53x. One of my favorite prompts to put into any AI that I use with on a regular basis is review my prompts and my usage over the last 7 days and tell me if I could be using AI better. And are there skills
You froze up.
I should create in? Oh, can you guys hear me?
Now we can.
Okay. Where did I get dropped off?
You were talking about the last part of the plans.
Oh, wow. That was a little while ago. Anyway, okay, so we got the plans. I'll just mention it is free. It is different from other AIs in that you can search X, and you have that little private mode up here, which is different than the others. There is nothing to install. It's web-based only on the PC. If you have a phone and you want to use it, there are phone apps as well, Apple and Android. And so
Greg, you're no longer sharing a screen.
no worries. I love technical issues. Thanks for the heads up. We're still back at the same chat screen here. So I'm just, yeah. So, and I wouldn't use it with this or any other AI. I wouldn't use it to replace the developer. You're going to need a developer's help if you're trying to really, you can get the basics out with a lot of these tools. But you're going to really need a developer to work with the tool from a development level, to build a harness, to really build the app the way you want to. And so if you're looking for development help and you have an idea and you want a developer to help you out, you have to make sure that they're an AI native developer, and they've built sophisticated apps using AI. You'll be able to move 10x faster if you're building through AI as opposed to manually building. All right, let's dive into demo time here. So the first demo, I'm going to put this on fast instead of leaving it on auto, just because I wanted to show you guys the different ways to do this. I'm going to put this into, if you guys have it, you can set up a free account right now on Grok, and you can customize this prompt and drop it into Grok. In here, you can see the prompt that I wrote, and I went ahead and pre-populated all this stuff so we can move a little quicker. But the prompt I just put into the chat is the exact prompt that you see here. So I served, here's my position, this is the branch. Translate that into 3 civilian tech jobs that are hiring right now. For each, give me real 2026 pay range, single certification that gets me in the door, and one company known for hiring veterans for that role. Search the live web and X for current openings and cite what you find. And this is on fast. You can see here it took 41 seconds, and it came back with a few different options for me based on my role. System administrator, here's the pay range, here's the fastest cert to get me hopefully hired. Companies known that are actively looking. And again, there's the citations here you can click on to view where I pulled the data from. And then here's current openings in several different companies for that exact specific role. So this is on fast mode. It's very detailed. You can, then it gives me a second option here for information security analyst. Pay range here is a little on the higher end. At the max, because well, it's 150 plus as opposed to 150 max. A little higher on the bottom as well. And then here you have network support specialist, a little lower base pay, but again, more details on that role, all mapped from 41 seconds. And all these chats remember what's happening inside the chat. So the second prompt I'm going to run here, and I'll put this into the chat. and this is in the same chat window. This is basically translating my duties into resume bullets, and it's taking each of the jobs that it recommended above and put them into resume bullets that I should add to my resume based on those jobs. Also, additional leadership-oriented things you could put in there, quick tips for your resume, and why. And then the third one I'm putting in here is which of these three can I get hired into without a 4-year degree? Give me a 90-day plan. So I'm just going back and forth and I'm chatting with this and I'm learning more and I'm building a plan to hopefully find a role where I can start applying to quickly. Here's the 90-day plan. And again, this is on fast. This is on the cheapest model. So it's very good. You'll also notice, I ran it twice here. At the bottom of every output, it always gives you 3 options. I already ran one of these. It gave the third option was security fundamentals. You could do map. It always gives you like what it thinks your next question is going to be. So always look at that because sometimes the next best question you may not have thought of, but the AI has. And so it's helping to guide you as you work within this chat. Cool. And then on the sources here, again, you have all the sources here, which are great. Not every AI does that. I can see the 51 sources here. I can search each one. I can click on this to open it in a new tab. I can just review here. If I see one source I want to dig into, I can do that. So that is a really nice feature as well. Cool. Any questions on the chatting and on this demo? Hopefully you guys got some ideas here on how to help with the job searching for you or your loved ones.
Questions in the chat yet?
No questions. Great. All right. Let's move on to demo 2. All we're doing here, we're sticking in the chat, but I am going to change it from fast to expert. Again, just to show you the differences in models here. And I already prepared the prompt. By the way, I don't write my own prompts. I just hit the dictate button and I say, hey, I need a prompt that's going to give me X, Y, and Z, and write it in the best way that I'm supposed to run it, based on what I'm trying to achieve, and improve it if you can. And I just let AI write me the prompt, and then I take that prompt and then I run it inside of AI. I am not a prompt expert. You don't need to be a prompt expert anymore. Just ask AI to write you the prompt and it will do it. That's where I got these prompts here. I did not write these from scratch. So I dropped it into the chat. This is the prompt I ran earlier, ran for 35 seconds. Again, this is on expert. I have 90 days and about $500 before my benefits kick in. I need 1 certification, not 3. Compare AWS, Cloud Prac, AZ900, CompTIA on cost, study hours, and which one gets veterans hired the fastest in 2026. Do not give me options. Give me one recommendation and defend it. I always recommend ending your questions or your prompts with something like that, because you're not just asking for a list of options. You're actually asking it to choose the best option for you and to defend it with the reasoning. And boom, 35 seconds later, it's got what it recommends is the best cert I should go after, the cost for that cert, the realistic study hours expected, hiring speed for veterans with this cert. And again, here are like the 3 additional questions that it came back with. If I want to know more about other certs or potential things that I could ask as follow-up questions to what it just gave me. So that's on expert. It's a little more thinking, right? It's not so much research. So that's when I would use expert over fast. All right. Any questions on expert? Doesn't look like it. It's pretty much the same as fast, just heavier thinking here. Perfect. Let's jump into demo 3. We're going to build an app. I'm going to give it 1 prompt, just a basic description of an app, no technical jargon whatsoever. I'm going to drop it into here and we're going to watch it build. So build, unlike a lot of other AIs where you have sort of like a separate area inside of the AI to build, here you just go to a new chat window, and instead of fast, instead of expert, you click build. And this is where it's got some ideas right off the gate. And as you work more with Grok, these ideas will improve based on how it gets to know you. But here I just describe what I want to build. And again, I already have a prompt that ran. I can find the guy here. Okay, maybe I lost the tab. So we'll do it from scratch. We'll just have to come back. Not a big deal. So we're on build. I'm going to put in a single prompt, one paragraph long. I'm going to drop it into the chat first so you guys can try it along with me or after the call or whenever you want. Again, it's just a template. You can modify this and or come up with your own ideas for apps. But in here, I'm going to say, build a single page web app called Cert Countdown. Someone enters their certification they're studying for and their exam date. The app shows me the days remaining until the cert and a week by week study plan broken out by topics. You could even include things like with the YouTube links. You could give it the Pluralsight training plan for this particular cert and ask it to break it down for you, because Pluralsight's great, but it doesn't break it down. Hey, if you want to get it done in 2 weeks, here's the amount of time and the parts you're supposed to cover in that 2-week period, assuming you're going to need 3 days to sort of prepare for the exam and run through practice exams and things like that. So that's where Grok could really step in and help you reverse engineer from that cert date backwards and make sure you are accountable and keeping up with the study plan that it creates for you. So I'm just going to submit this. This probably takes 5 minutes. By the way, I think this is kind of cool. You can see as Grok is thinking, the little thinking engine here, rather than like a Claude weird octopus thing, it's actually the G in a 3x3 grid, making the sign of a G as it's thinking. So I thought that was kind of unique. Little detail that I really like inside of Grok. All right. So we're going to let this build and we're going to come back. But the main point I just want to say here, there's not any technical jargon here whatsoever. You can just describe in regular language what you want to build, and Grok will just go ahead and build it for you. And we'll come back and we'll take a look at that. In the meantime, we'll jump ahead to demo 4. That's this automations tab inside of Grok. These are things you want to run on a scheduled basis. That's basically what the automation is. You can adjust frequency. You can adjust what it does. It's got some suggested ones here. You can do an auto email responder. For example, you can connect your Gmail. And you could have it, if you get certain emails from certain folks that need certain responses, you can have it templated out and automatically respond for you, so you don't have to copy and paste into those emails every week. Definitely play around with the suggested to get started. And then once you see how it works, then start creating your own. I created one earlier called Job Search. The prompt that I put in here, I'm going to drop into the chat. And we're going to do here as well. I'm going to say new automation. I'm going to give it a name, Job Search 2. The triggers are the frequency, how often you want it to run. So you can do once, hourly, daily, weekly, monthly, yearly. I'm going to say weekly. It's going to give you pretty much the next sort of increment in terms of what day and time it is right now. I'm going to say, let's do Sundays. Let's change this to 12 p.m. And then you just drop in your prompt here. The one I just pasted into the chat window, you would paste it here. Search the web and X for new remote entry-level cloud and cybersecurity job postings that welcome veterans or prefer a security clearance. Give me the top 10 with company, title, pay, if listed, and the exact link to apply. All right. And then I save that. Now, every Sunday at noon, that's going to run. I know in my head, Sunday 1 to 4 is job search time. And I can come in here, look at all those outputs, and start applying or reviewing and seeing which ones you want. You also don't have to limit it to 10. You could say 50 or 100. You could change the scoping to not be remote, to say local in your own town or your own state. Or if you're willing to relocate to a few states, You could say in my state or these two other states. You could say only companies that are public, for example, or companies that are in defense. There's no limit to what you can create here except your imagination. Cool. Any questions on automations?
None so far.
Okay. Okay. Let's take a look back at our app, see if it's still going here. Yep, it's still going. It's editing the favicon now, but you can see here, it shows you as it's building what exactly it's doing. So if you're interested in that stuff and you'd like to see how AI thinks, it's pretty cool. So that's still going. It's been going for minutes, 5 minutes now. We'll come back after the last demo here. Hopefully it'll be ready. If not, we'll break out to build. You guys will take 10 minutes to build something on your own, and we'll come back and do a little show and tell. Or if you've been building already while we've been talking, we can skip whole that part, and you guys can jump in and just share your screen and show what you've tinkered with. Doesn't have to be fancy. The last, but the sexiest part of Grok is the image generation. It's super fun. I love playing in images and all these AIs, honestly. When you come in here, right, you have your basic chat. The chat has changed a bit. You don't have a model picker anymore. You just have speed and quality. Those are really the two model pickers here. You have image and video. You have an agent, which I haven't played with. So take a look at that, play around with that after the call. You have the image count, how many it's going to produce for you when you run this. It's defaulting to 4. And then you have the aspect ratio. So if you're going to do social media, 1:1 is usually the safest. And then the other ones, just depending on what you're looking to do. The banner here would be like for a LinkedIn banner, for example. You want to update your LinkedIn banner and give it some ideas and have that right veteran and some other things on there. You can auto create your LinkedIn banners here, which is nice. Also, you can change the aspects later after your image is done and have it regenerate right there within the image. So, because I've done that before where I didn't choose the right dimension and then I'm like, oh, let me start all over again. You don't have to do that. And I'll show you here. All right. So I'm going to drop a prompt in here. I'm going to put it first into the chat. You guys have it now. Feel free to run it on your Grok or follow and just watch how I'm doing it here. But I have in here a stainless steel military dogs resting on a dark desk besides a closed laptop, shot from above, soft blue rim lighting, shallow depth of field, muted navy steel tones. I'm going to put this on quality here and the aspect ratio. We'll do widescreen. And again, you don't have to write these prompts. You can tell Claude to give you the prompt based on what you're just thinking, and it will give you a better prompt probably than you can write on your own, and you just paste that into the chat here. Great. So I'm going to run this now. It was set to 4, as you can see. So it's creating these 4 images for me. One nice thing about Grok and the image generation is by default, these are images. But I can, which image do you prefer? All right. I think I like this one a little bit better. But it gives you an option. This play button means make a video. It doesn't mean that it is a video. It's a little confusing in that perspective. It's just showing you that it can also take this and make a video. But by default, it's an image. So if I click into this image, I can edit it. I can remove the background. I can go to colors. This is kind of cool. If I don't like the color scheme, I can either define my own. This is the palette that it's currently using. I could say, hey, let's do a sunset. All right. And it's going to apply that palette to this image and redo the colors based on the palette that I just chose. And there you go. It was that easy. I can even make a video. And this, I think, is the fun part of Grok. When I click on make a video, you can add a prompt to the video. But my favorite, honestly, is spicy. And spicy means exactly what you think it means. It's a little spicy. A little emotional, a little heart, a little bit of love in there. And you'll see here, it's going to spice up this. Now, you're probably thinking, how is it going to spice up dog tags in a laptop? Well, take a look. It didn't do it as I thought it would do it. The last one I did, I can show you here. I did spicy, and it brought the two together. They're kind of hugging. Instead of it just took that flat image and created a little spicy video for me. So that is image and video generation in Grok. You can see your history here of all the stuff you've done in the past. And you can share this. You can do all kinds of stuff in here. I encourage you to get in here and play around with the image generation. It is very nice. And again, you can change the aspect ratio here. If I wanted to go to 1:1, for example, I have to put the image in, the prompt again. If I also don't like it, I can just hit regenerate here without having to run the prompt again, and it will come up with new ideas every time. All right, let's take a look at our app real quick, our job finder app, see if that's done. There's our image, there's here, auto, and it looks like we lost the tab again. Well, you guys have the prompt for the build. Go ahead and run that on your own. Play with that. It basically will give you a nice little app. You can prompt it to make changes on your own. And you can play with the build capabilities in Grok, which are pretty good. They're very good. I don't even see it here in my history. I'm not sure what's happening there. So anyway, those are all the demos I prepared. Again, this was a high-level 101 sort of overview of what Grok is. We've covered all the basics, the models, the pricing, the different capabilities of what's inside. While we were working today, has anyone built anything while they were playing around here in Grok, and anything that they want to volunteer to show?
I got a quick question for you.
Yeah.
If you had only two AI platforms to use because you couldn't afford more, would you go with Claude or Super Grok?
Well, if I really need access to Twitter, because I think that is the real main differentiator. If you're building something or you need access to Twitter, I would probably use the free version of Grok to do the Twitter, especially if it's not heavy usage. I would use Claude. I think I prefer Claude. GPT is about the same, but I think Claude is a little bit better. I would just pay for Claude, and if I needed any other AI, I would try and get as far as I can on the free version. And I bounce between them. So, for example, I'll start off on Claude, and I'll use all my credits. And when I'm done with that for the week, I'll jump over to my Gemini free plan because I have a paid Claude plan, my free plan, and I use up all the credits there. And then when that's all done, I jump to Grok and I use all the free credits there. And when that's all done, I use the ChatGPT and use all the free credits there. So I'm always looking to save as much money as possible. And these free accounts give you some decent token usage, and you can probably get away with a lot of stuff for free. Now, if you start running out of tokens with all those free plans, you're probably going to have to upgrade to two. My favorite two are Claude and ChatGPT. I am on a paid Grok account here, and I just did that really for this demo and to show you guys the capabilities. But normally I'm not. You can see here in my history, I basically just have been studying and preparing for this demo all week. And so you can see here, these only go back a week in terms of my history. I'm not a big Grok user, but I do like it.
Makes sense. So I built a small video of Vikings.
Very cool. Do you want to share your screen or drop it into the chat? Oh, I see you put it in the chat already.
I'll share. Yeah. Well, that's the first one.
Oh, yeah. If you guys click on his link there.
But then I increased the graphics in it. So I'll share my screen.
Go ahead.
And I'll show you how I did the whole thing. So just trying to figure out where I'm gonna.
Yeah, I think I might need. Let me see if I can remove. I think I may need to promote you, but I'm not sure where. It's not letting me do it, Joseph. But we can see in the link. Guys, if you haven't clicked on Joseph's link, it's in the chat. I'm going to put it at the top here. And you can see the Viking image that he built. That's cool. Very cool. And it's easy to share these things. There's a little share button on an image, on a video, and on build. And not only on build can you share it, your app with any of your friends, and it's free. You can also publish it. If you go out and buy a website for that, a domain name, you can tie it directly to that site and it will resolve to that domain name. So it's very cool.
So the first link is when I first began. The
Okay,
second link is where I took my idea for Vikings rowing on longboats and put it into a 6-second video.
nice. I'm bringing it up now. Let me
That was
close.
the first one.
Yep, let me grab the chat. Wait, here we go. Chat. I do not use Zoom every day, as you guys can tell. Here we go. I got it. And here's the video that he did.
Oh yeah, that's nice.
What they're
And
saying
that
right
was just
now,
a basic prompt, right?
yeah, those are basic prompts. And then I took the primary picture that you first saw and I said, make it more graphical and then make it a video. And what they're actually saying there is keep rowing for Valhalla. We will fight and we will win.
That is very cool, Joseph. And that's on the free plan, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So guys, you definitely want free plans on every single major AI out there. Really, there's four: Grok, GPT, Claude, and Gemini. And if you're really fancy, I would recommend Perplexity. They all have free accounts. You should be dabbling in all of them. When you're in a job interview and they say, "How do you use AI?" You can say, "Well, I use them all. I have all five accounts. I play with them. I keep up with the changes that they're doing. I've built in every single one. I've created images. I've created videos." When employers hear that you have a love and for the game, and you're not doing it because your job requires you to do it, you just genuinely really like the technology and you love tinkering, you're a tinkerer, employers love to hear that.
I got a quick question for you. Since I've worked with Claude, now Grok, ChatGPT, and I did do some Perplexity.
Okay.
When you put it on your resume, do you put it in skills or do you just put it in something else?
I would put it definitely in skills. I would have my own AI skills section. I would have my normal skills in like skills, and then I would have just like an AI skills section to weed it out and make it separate more from the rest. And I'd also put the AI skills only really. I'd put the primary skills in the cover letter that are for the job, but also have a snippet of your AI skills and capabilities. And be prepared. Have have these AIs installed on your phone. If you're in a face-to-face interview, you can pull up the phone and say, "Let me show you what I built. Here, take a look. Play around with the app." Look, you can see that there's dozens of apps in here, and that's just Claude. I got dozens more in GPT and all the others. So you're not just telling them you can actually show them.
Cool.
That's good stuff. Quick question. So when you're trying to get like, let's say, the best prompt to beef up your resume for a particular job posting, where do you ask for the prompt in Grok? What mode should it be in to get you the best prompt result?
Good question. So fast is should get you everything you need. I'm going to drop into the chat here some example prompts here that you guys can run on your own. Let me get into the chat after the call here. In the different areas that we talked about. And then the first prompt that I gave, I would use that, I would modify that. And I'll drop that in here as well. So I'm going to do, just so you guys have it easily organized, this was prompt one. That's for job seeking. Prompt two was for certification path. Does that answer your question, by the way?
Yes, sir.
I would use fast. I would use fast for that job research. Have you tried using AI to search for jobs?
So I found
Anybody? Yeah.
two websites. One says AI Apply, and then
Mm-hmm.
the other one is Loop CV.
Yep.
So with AI Apply, you put your skills and your resume in there, and it helps you identify the companies and the positions, and then it can actually generate a resume to submit. The other one, Loop CV, is basically it does a loop, and you have to put up a time frame like Monday at 2 o'clock or whatever, and it'll go through jobs, and it'll show you what are the best matches for you in accordance to your CV that you put in.
Very cool. Guys, I don't know how often you guys use the Discord, or even if you've connected with our Discord. We have a Cloud Veterans Discord. We post multiple times a day in here. There's very good insights in here under news and insights. There's under the job board here, openings that are available for folks to look at. I also have some really good, there's some how to use AI to find a job videos, again, on a daily basis. We also have our community chat for you guys to ask your own questions, announcements, and an area to introduce yourself if you haven't done that yet. If you're not in the Discord channel, you're losing out on a lot of good information. You can install it on your PC and your phone, and just check it once a day. You don't have to check it as notifications pop up. Just set yourself a timer in your iPhone, or your 5 p.m. every day. Come in here for 5 minutes, look at the links. There is good information in here that will help you get and land jobs.
All right, good stuff. I'm glad you're sharing that.
Very cool. The Discord, link to the Discord is in your welcome email. If you just search for Discord, you should find it. Otherwise, if anyone has the Discord link in front of them, probably not. Not many people are sitting in front of the Discord link. Let me grab it right here. Actually, I can, here we go. Okay. Any other questions before we wrap up here?
Oh, you got some in the questions.
Okay.
Oh no, it was just it's your post that you had in chat, but I don't see anything else.
It looks like we don't have we just have okay, so they're a little different. If someone wouldn't mind, can you click on this link and tell me if it takes you to Discord? And is it just one channel in Discord or the whole Discord?
It says
right now.
Go ahead, Jerry.
It says unable to accept invite.
Well, that explains it. Let me do this. Invite to server. Invite send to a friend. Perfect. Okay, here you go. Try this one, Jerry. And anyone else who wants Discord access? I got a thumbs up. I'm assuming that worked.
I have the same issue, unable to accept invite.
Really? Okay. Well, I will look into this. We will send out, everyone gets emails, right? Like the monthly newsletter.
Yes.
Do you guys see those? Okay. So I'll make sure that we get an email out. So what we'll do is we'll send out the link to this recording next week. And in that notice email, we'll also put a link to join the Discord to remind everyone. And there's a lot of good info in there. I'm not sure what's happening. It's good to know.
I'm already on Discord.
You are. Can you search for Cloud Veterans, Cloud Space Veterans?
Yes, I have it on my phone.
And you can get in without any issues that way?
Correct.
Well, if it's your first time in there, obviously, I recommend spending a little more time. You want to go through the history of some of the stuff you've missed under job board and news and insights. Those are really the most important. There's good tech trends and information happening under insights and news. Is job board. Guys, feel free to drop into the Discord's supposed to be a community, right? So if you have questions or you're running into issues or you found a new tool that is really helping you, please share it in Discord. Let others know about it. We're all here to help each other out. The more brains and the more people involved in the conversation, the better the data will be.
Question, you were talking about a job org. Is it under announcement?
Yes.
Okay.
No, job board. So under main channels, let me show you. Let me share my screen one more time. You should see my screen here. So you can see here on the left side of Discord, you'll see the Cloud Veterans logo. You're probably in other Discord servers. They're called servers, but it's basically a community. If you click on the Cloud Veterans logo, you'll see here there is information and questions. There's main channels, education focused, and there's some voice channels. But under main channels here, that's the main area here. Introduce yourself, announcements, community chat, news and insights, and job board. The last two are really the two you want to pay attention to on a daily basis.
I don't see it on my phone. Maybe I have to do it on the computer.
Should be. Try it again now, Jerry.
Maybe I have to refresh my.
You might need to close the app and reopen it. I don't know why this was not syncing. Very interesting. Any luck, Jerry, or anyone else? Can you guys see?
Yes, I got it now.
Wait, do you see all five of these? Introduce, announce, company chat,
Yes.
insights, and news?
Yes.
Beautiful. Okay. I'm not sure what happened there.
I have to go back to the server and then allow it to show.
Ah, interesting. Okay.
I went to the setting and then do it from there.
In settings, I'm surprised it doesn't show by default. I'll look into that. I don't know what's happening there. That shouldn't be the case. Everyone should be able to see it. Okay, good to know. We'll investigate and make sure we get that fixed. We got to update these links too. So we'll dig into that a little bit and we'll send out that announcement. Hope you guys got some good information from today. We do these, one or two a month. We'll probably do a new one coming up. Probably we're going to do Lovable next, by the way. Little sneak peek there. If you haven't played with Lovable, it's a pretty powerful build, pretty much build only. It's the most basic level build tool that's out there. If you're a beginner in building apps and you're super not technical, Lovable is perfect for you. I use it all the time, and I can show you all the stuff that I've built. So excellent. Well, guys, thank you for attending today. Thank you for your service. Hopefully you got some good information out of this. Email me at any time. If you have follow-up questions, just drop them, greg@cloudveterans.org. You could also email the hello if you need any support in the program, questions, exam reimbursement, anything like that. Shoot it to hello@cloudveterans.org. There's a few people on there. We are 100% volunteer-led. There's no paid employees. We have no overhead. We try and keep it that way. So every dollar we raise go back to you guys in the training. It takes us a day or two to respond to emails typically because everyone else has a full-time job. So just be patient. If you do email us, we will get back to you. It may take a day or two.
Excuse me, Gregory. We just had a couple of things fall in the chat.
Oh, great. Excellent.
From Ephraim, it says temporary network error is what he's getting. And
Okay.
then from Brandon, he says main channels drop down arrow. I guess he means you can't find it. And then the same guy, Brandon, he says, what do you think about base 44?
Base 44 is great. It's very similar to Lovable. They're almost identical in my mind. At least last time I looked at base 44. It's probably been 6 or 9 months since I've been in there. And I just started tinkering with Lovable, how these things are. You start using one and you sort of get used to it. But base 44 is very good. I don't know the pricing differences between Lovable and base 44. I think they're similar. I think base 44 may also have some advantages. I know they were purchased recently, like in the last year. I believe Wix bought them, if I remember correctly, but some big platform already bought them. And they were like less than a year old, and they bought them for like, I don't know how many billions. And I think the whole thing was vibe coded. So amazing what some people, with the right idea and the right traction and a little bit of experience in launching apps, it's never an easier time in the history of mankind to generate wealth using these tools.
Could you put in the chat the Lovable link?
It's very simple. It's lovable.dev. Very easy. If you search for Lovable, it's like a clothing company. You won't find it. It's got to be lovable.dev.
All right. Thank you.
And it's also free to sign up and start building. You can actually get really far on the free plan in Lovable, which is nice. It's great for websites. I have a dozen or so websites I'm running in there right now. Hopefully everyone else, I'm looking at these permissions here. I'm not sure why. It looks like some of the permissions got out of sync somehow. I don't know how or why that happened, but hopefully you guys should see all the channels. If not, I would just close and reopen your Discord and you should see them. If you still have issues with Discord, you should see 5 channels underneath main channels. If you're not seeing those 5 channels, shoot an email to hello, screenshot what you can see. Even if you just want us to double check and say, hey, this is what I can see in Discord. Do I have access to everything I should have access to? Or, I just want a sanity check. Shoot us that email and we'll take a look for you. And there's 400 people so far, 392 in this Discord. So it's definitely a good community than building every day. Excellent, guys. Well, thanks again for joining. Every prompt I ran today is in the chat history. By the way, we have a job finder as well. It's on cloudveterans.org website. In the top right navigation menu is Find Jobs. It's free to use. You sign up inside from our website. You upload your military resume, your current resume. You answer some questions on what your history was in the military. It is through a partner that we work with that focuses just on getting veterans hired. It's not our technology. A company called Opline. So you'll see the URL change when you click on that, and that's fine. It's not a security issue. It's a real company. They're a legit veteran placement company. They don't charge you guys. There's no paywalls where you can only search a certain amount and you have to pay. We got to deal with them where it's 100% free for you, no matter how much you use it. And it will automatically build these AI agents in the background to keep searching for jobs for you and give you the actual job description and the links to apply, and we'll customize your resume for each of those applications. So if you haven't taken a look at that yet, I highly recommend it. And by the way, that job finder, it's on our website. It's free for everybody in the world to use. If you have other veteran friends or you're in other veteran Facebook groups or WhatsApp groups, drop that link to the job finder in there and encourage people to use it. It's 100% free for any and all veterans, in Cloud Veterans or not.
Great.
Cool.
So there's no anything left in Q&A or chat.
All right. Excellent. Well, guys, have a great weekend. We ran a little over, but I think it was worth it. We got dived into some good topics today. We will build the agenda for the next one and let you know when that's coming out. And if you got issues, email us hello@cloudveterans.org. Thanks, everyone. Take care.